going to be a revolving door. So,
correct.
To like get started, like how did you lose your job, and then how did you know that this is what I wanted to do?
So December 1st, 2020 was my last day in corporate. They called me and they decided that they no longer need my services. And it was easy in a way, but also hard because I had already started the business, which was doing six figures a year. It was actually making more than, my career. And I had to decide, do I want to go back into corporate, which I do love, or do I want to bet on me and continue to grow my business just like I was doing for other millionaires? I feel like, okay, if I could do this for other people, I could do this for myself. And I had to make a decision, even though people didn't feel like it was the best decision at the time because COVID just started, is a recession. There was like nobody outside, nobody spending no money. It was all those things that, friends and family were saying, but I knew who I was as a person and I knew the experience that I had. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to listen to them. I'm just going to do what I know and I'm good at, and that was business. So I just like, you know what? I'm gonna bet on me, and I just wrote out my business plan, my projections, and I just took that leap of faith and say, listen, I'm gonna just go all in. And now 5 years later, here we are.
So the thing that you said was you took that leap of faith and you bet on yourself, even when your friends, family, or environment told you not to do that. Because a lot of times we miss our mark because we listen to people, but it will always come back to haunt us. Like, I don't care what it is.
Right.
If you mark and you know you miss your mark, it's going to always come back and haunt you. So it's either you're going to do it, your spirit tells you to, or you are just going to miss out on it and be haunted, basically, for a while.
For a while.
Okay, so financially, do you have like any advice for the girls, like money-wise, or like what is your biggest financial tool that you live by, or advice that you would give to the girls who are in the field of entrepreneurship, but maybe not know how to think financially or how to budget? Anything around?
Okay, so I wanted you to finish before I answer. But honestly, budgeting is so important. So what I do is I have something that I use every 2 weeks, just like if I was on payroll and somebody's clock, right? It's called a profit calculator. I'm not sure if most of you may know what that is, but if you don't, just let me know in the chat and I'll kind of break it down, as quickly as I can. But anytime you're in business, you want to know where your money's coming in and where it's going. So doing a profit calculation every 2 weeks is very good because that gives you an understanding of how much money you have coming in, where it's going, and how much you should be spending in certain areas and how much money you should be saving in certain areas. So, being in my background, that's what I used to teach my clients so that they're able to cut costs in certain places, run a cost-effective business, and still be able to save money, because we have to save money. In business, we want to spend money because we don't want to pay taxes, but also we need our accounts and our tax returns to look sexy, because otherwise the bank is not going to like us. And I know that because I was that person that's saying approve or denied. So I know better. So pretty much I'm just doing better. So if it was one takeaway when it comes to finances, is having or doing a profit calculation every 2 weeks, because that tells you about your money coming in and your money going out. You have a better understanding, and also having at least a minimum of 5 bank accounts to separate those things so that you are able to manage your money properly, versus a common person will have a checking and savings. A checking and savings is probably more so for a consumer and not a business owner, because if you have all your money going one place and you're just spending from that one account, you're not going to know your left from your right. Because one, businesses delay. So you can say, I want to pay today, and they don't take your payment out till 3 days later. And you thinking the money's going to come out either today or tomorrow. And you're going to like, oh, I got $5,000, and you're going spending stuff when you realize that that company didn't take the money out. So now you're actually less than what you have in the account. So you always want to make sure that you do not have one or two bank accounts, like a checking and a savings. That's more for your personal. And even your personal, you should still have at least three bank accounts. However, but for business, if you have that one or two, you definitely want to go out and open more accounts so you're able to manage your money better. So if anything, any tool I would say or I would recommend is definitely a profit calculator.
That was a really good one. I really never heard anybody like really talk about having a profit calculator, but it's needed because it helps you determine like how much inventory you need to buy. Like a lot of times we overspend on something, our client, or we don't know like how much money we're bringing in, and then the different accounts, like that. I know me personally, I have a checking, saving, investment, a tax account, and like business expenses. So my favorite account is my investment account, and I learned that from working to investors years ago. If you have an investment account, you will always have money to put and flip, basically. Like when something comes up or something you want to invest into that knows going to bring you a return. So having, like, I know we've been trained to have like a savings. You could have an investment account that will really set you up for a lot of different money plays that you want to make. So did you want to share? I did have a few questions, but I don't know if you wanted to share any. Somebody said they just downloaded a profit calculator. Thank you for that.
Yeah, you are so welcome, Queen. Yes, that is definitely needed. A lot of people don't do it, and I feel like, um, one, I really appreciate you for even reaching out and wanting to collab with me and doing this because I feel like a lot of times there's a lot of business owners and they know what they do. Like they know how to sell clothes, they may know how to pick clothes or sell here or whatever. But when it comes to the finance part, that's where they struggle the most. And, I don't really see a lot of people breaking it down and explaining it to the point where people are like, oh, I get it. And actually can actually initiate it to make a difference in their business. I think the financial literacy is the biggest hiccup a lot of entrepreneurs have because they lack information. And just from my background alone, and just me going live, but just to get the word out to more people because you have following that don't know me and vice versa, and they can definitely learn something they can implement today that could make a change in their revenue or in their business in general.
Yeah, that's true. And what do you do today? Like, where does your like what's your long term goal? Like maybe a year from now, and what are you doing today? Like, because I know you do a few different things, and I know you mentor a little on the boutique side too, right?
Yeah, so I have three businesses. So Fashion All is my main, which is the e-commerce and brick and mortar. I'm also a business coach, so I help my entrepreneurs, either in the startup phase or some who have not made six figures in a year as yet. And then also I am a leader in TLC, which is Total Life Changes, which is a health and wellness business, which also helped me lose 30 pounds in 2.5 months without going to the gym and, adding that product. So I actually have a team of 48 women that are on my team right now that I coach on how to make money, stay healthy, hold themselves accountable. So that's like one of the businesses that I do have right now. In regards to my long-term goals, so my goals that I kind of started with, I hit. So now you got to create new goals, right? So the goal is to, everybody have their vision board look real cute and stuff, but the goal is to like really knock those out the park. It's not just to create a vision board and stick it on your wall and just look at it and pray. You gotta put the work in. So my goal was to make a certain amount of money a year, which I accomplished, and I did. So okay, thank you, just so now you just up that number, right? Because you realize like okay, I did it, so now we're gonna double the number. And then also having my own warehouse. So my goal is to have my own warehouse. I have a brick and mortar store, but my goal is to have my own warehouse. My own space. So instead of me paying somebody's rent, I could pay myself rent and make my own money 100%. And also have spaces in there that I can rent out where they're paying my rent. So it's like that's definitely one of my biggest goals right now for my business that I'm working towards.
What state are you in again?
Florida.
Okay, so I know Florida is a little bit pricier from where I am, but that's real estate. Basically, you are basically investing into something like real estate is not just homes. It could go a warehouse. It can be a commercial It can be a billboard. It can be anything that's bringing money passively. That can like touch. That is real estate. It doesn't always have to be property. So that's a really good goal to have, like a warehouse. So how do you see on my have like a warehouse? So how do you see, like, how do you plan for that? Oh, yeah. So hopefully she'll come back on because I wanted to ask her another question. But this is really getting good. This is girl math. Like, this is what it takes to have your business take care of you. Like, being able to retire, not having a 401k. Like, it's okay if you have one, but for the girls who are building, who don't want to rely on a 401k plan, like a 401k doesn't look, it's not a one size fits all. Just because they created it in 1819, that doesn't mean it works for you, me, him, them. So, but what I was going to ask you was, how do you see ahead, like, to know that's the next step? Like, do you
your numbers?
The numbers, okay.
The numbers. It all will go back to that girl math, right? And that's when I saw that, I was like, this is it right here. The math. Like the math, you know what they say, it gotta be mathing, like the numbers gotta make sense, right? So like for even if you have a brick and mortar or e-commerce, like you gotta know, okay, is this brick and mortar paying for itself? Like the numbers gotta make sense. So if my brick and mortar is paying for itself and I see the growth in it, that tells me there's something there. So now you do your projections. And that's why it's important to do a 2-year projection, because it gives you the idea. If you do a 2-year projection and you're going into your first and second year and the numbers are adding up, then you're on the right path. A lot of people don't do projections, but that is definitely one thing that banks look for, is a 2-year projection, especially if you're looking to get any type of lending. They're going to ask you for a 2-year projection. They want to see, where do you see yourself in the next 2 years with your business in terms of revenue wise. So having a 2-year projection definitely tells you where you are heading to, like if you're heading in the right direction. So doing that can definitely help you figure out, okay, yeah, having my own, it actually makes sense. The math is mathing over here. And if it didn't, then you got to make changes to make it make sense. So that's something that I definitely do. I meet with my CPA every month. So he tells me, like, he also projects for me too. He's like, okay, Steph, you're doing great. Or, you know, we can do this to add more. Or your profits is amazing. Keep going. Like today we had a meeting. He's like, you're definitely on the right track to where you want to be for your goals. So I'm like, perfect. So having a great CPA is definitely a plus. There are, you know, it just depends, but some of them are very pricey depending on the package. You don't want a CPA that just files your taxes and gives you a return at the end of the year and you don't know nothing about it or what's in it. You want to be able to read your tax return to the point that you understand. So just in case you have to go to the bank and the bank say, hey, what is this or what is that? Or you can tell the bank, hey, I have one time, you know, expenses. So that can actually help your tax return look good. So understanding your tax return is very important. So having a good CPA is definitely a plus as well.
That's a good point. Because sometimes, well, I know I do. I just send my information, do my QuickBooks updates, and I just really go about my day. I just let my CPA handle it. But what happens when that CPA retires and I don't know nothing? Like, I'm not going to know what to tell the next person.
Right.
For my, because I'm just going to have the information on, you know, what to submit. So that's a really good point. Someone said, do you think a LLC is required to start?
Yes.
I think, yeah, a LLC is needed, but I think a lot of times we get so
caught up in the LLC.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to, like, everybody files for LLC, right? Because like, oh, I got my LLC. Really and truly, there's more than LLCs, right? So there's so many different type of entities. There's partnership, there's limited liabilities, there's S corp, there's C corp. So you, again, you have to do your projections, because you can start as an LLC. You can also start as a corp, depending on how much money is your business going to make. That's what really predicts what your entity is. And a lot of people don't know that. They just go register for LLC and like, oh, I got a business, I got an LLC, you know, but it's really important to know, am I an S corp? Am I a C corp? Do I need to be a partnership? Do I need to be a limited liability? Do I need to be this? Do I need to be that?
Person.
Exactly. It depends on the person, depends on the business. So LLC is cool, but that's not really, nobody's gonna stick it as the LLC unless you're not really making no money.
Another point, before we even go to get an LLC, like, let's make some money. Like, let's secure a client. Let's make sure we're going to love this business, because it's nothing worse than building a business because you see someone else doing it on social media and you hate it. So I would say, before you even start filing, getting a name, because the name next week you might not even like, or whatever. So I would say focus on like building the foundation, and focus on building, like, getting the money. Like, where's the money coming from first, before you get to spending money and throwing it out the door. Someone said in the comments, have you ever taken out a big loan? For me, I'll answer first. I live off of the bank's money, so I'm in the real estate industry, so of course, I mean, it might be different for boutique owners, but if the bank is going to give me $200,000 and I only have to pay them $1,500 back every month, I'm going to try to double that 200,000 to 400,000. So me, yes, I always use the bank's money, and I know that other payment processing, I've had a PayPal loan before, and they give you that money like so quickly. So you kind of got to be careful with that type of funding. But have you ever needed or used any type of loans? Or
So I have took loans, and I also have line of credits too. Line of credits are really good. An SBA loan. So I did an SBA 504. I'm not sure if how much they know about SBA, but don't sleep on SBA. A lot of people sleep on SBA. SBA is the most amazing program that you can use. When I Yep. When I tell you SBA is a little longer process, but we all have the time. And their terms are way better than conventional. Also, the rates are better as well. So I highly recommend, if anybody on here watching, looking for funding and you have a decent credit score, definitely go and look at SBA lending, and they lend based off of your projections. So you can literally start your business today with no money being made, but you have your projections, you have your business plan, your proposal, your startup cost analysis, you will get approved. So yes, I have do, and I also have a line of credit for my business because, um, like I used to teach my clients, a line of credit is like paying car insurance, right? You never know when you're gonna need it. So it's like health insurance, but for your business, because at times are going to change, and you don't want to be going to the bank when you know that you need the money. The bank really don't like you when you need money. They like you when you don't need money. It sounds crazy, but that's just the way that they think. So from all that experience in banking, is like I totally just still act like I'm a business manager and I talk to myself. It may sound crazy, but I literally meet with myself and I will literally like treat myself as a client, like, okay, Steph, this is going on, what we need to do. And literally just implement it, because that's the best way. You never want to go to the bank when you need the money. You want to go to the bank when you don't need the money, and they will give you the most money.
That's true too. So do you have your like business structure set out, like laid out and everything? Okay, yeah, me too. In business credit and business funding alone has really opened a lot of doors. It's like double the person. It's like two of you, especially if you know like how to move financially. It's two really good people of the same person. So business structure is definitely a game changer for anybody, true business owner. So yes. Anything else you want to add or talk about? Those were my questions for tonight. So
we be here all night, because when it comes to business, I just love talking about business. Like, it just takes me back to like candy. I feel like I'm in Candyland talking about business. But I would, if I could give some advice, definitely create your business plan for sure. Um, Also, a lot of business owners, when they first start, they end up using their own money, right? Which is totally normal, because they may not have, the best credit to get OPM, or, other people money. However, if you are someone who invests in your own money into your business, definitely create a loan agreement. Because as a business owner, you could decide if you want to be paid back that money, or would it be equity, meaning you're investing money into your business? So if it's equity, you want to have a capital agreement, and if it is a loan, you want to create a loan agreement. And I want you to think just like if you didn't have the money and you had great credit and you had to go to the bank and say, hey, Mr. Bank, I want to borrow $5,000 to start my business. You are the bank. So you want to create that agreement because that avoids you from paying taxes twice. But you just putting the money in the account, and not creating that agreement, you're technically paying taxes twice. So to help you, be more organized, and also if you ever had to go to the bank and get money, they're gonna always look to see, have you invested into your own company? They always ask you that. How much have you invested into your own company? And you don't want to be like, well, I just put money here and there. That loan agreement comes in handy, and they actually take you serious because you actually spent money in your own business. So if you haven't done one, it's not too late to do one. But you have to decide, do I want the money back or do you want it as an equity? So a lot of people do not do that, and they end up, paying taxes twice and just not getting their money back. But you got to look at yourself as an investor. I want my money back. So I'm going to create that agreement. And then also having an operating agreement, which also dictates what's going on in the business, because the banks do ask for that as well. So if anything, I would recommend or advise would be those, two things, which is very important when you're starting your business.
Okay, will your warehouse, will that be in Florida?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Someone did say, have you ever created an LLC to get funding and zero revenue, and how does that work when it's tax time? So it's so easy to get business funding, but a lot of times people, they make all their business look good. They got the business bank account, the websites. They tell them the bank that they get 150K, but they have no income coming in. So you have to have, if you get a business loan or a business credit and that goes under because you don't know how to manage, you go under right with that business. So you don't want your business credit and your personal to be under. So I would say every business needs to have some kind of income, because you said with 0% revenue,
it will be based off of their like W-2. So you have to have some type of income. So for example, if you came to the bank and you say, hey, Stephanie, I want a loan for $10,000, but the business haven't made any money, I'm gonna ask you for a 2-year projection. I'm gonna ask you for a business plan. I'm gonna ask you for a resume because I want to know what you're doing and what you're going into. A starter cost analysis form, which tells me exactly what you're gonna do with the money, and then how much money do you make, and then what is your intentions? Are you gonna continue working, or are you going to stop working when you get the money? You never want to say you're going to stop working when you get the money, because that tells them, well, what if the business doesn't make any money? How are you going to pay me back? So you want to say you're going to keep your job. Even if you transition into the business because the business picks up and doing really well, that's cool. But for bank purpose, you just never want to say that you are going to quit your job, because they're not going to give you the money. So it's still based it off of your income and then off of your projections.
Yeah, because they don't like to know, like, you're using their money basically to play with. So once you say, like, investment, or, you don't have a clear form, that's like a red flag to them. So you have to take very good precautions. And, it was this article that I read like a year and a half ago. It was during COVID, when all of the money and, unemployment and the PPP loan, it was just so much money being circulated around that time. And that over 20,000 G-Wagons had been repossessed because people either lied to get them their tax return, or they didn't have the right income. They put it in like their business name and it didn't match up when they got audited or whatever. But it was 20,000 business owners who G-Wagon had got repossessed. And I remember like always seeing it on my timeline. Like it was like, you get a G-Wagon, you get a G-Wagon, you get a G-Wagon. It was just
but you gotta got the money to pay for the G-Wagon.
right, or keep up with the maintenance.
Right.
Really on Yahoo Finance. It was like a year and a half ago. So y'all go read it. But that just made me think like you want a business that has income producing, and you want to be good and solid on the personal side as well. Like you want to be structured on both sides if you can. That's the whole purpose of being a business owner. Like, of course, we're going to struggle being a business owner some months, but the main goal is to, like, you know, set yourself up and, like, be okay. Like, need to go to the bank and get some money and do that, you know? So,
yeah, keep your head above water, as my mama would say. That's it. Because there's sometimes it's going to be better than some, but if you keep your head above water, you'll be all right. But you got to be able to have it structured properly where it makes sense for you financially.
Yes. So thanks for joining. Make sure y'all follow her. Click the link. Her name is right at the top, CEO First Lady. Make sure you guys go follow her. For the people who just came on, do you want to tell them like what you do, what you offer?
So again, my name is Stephanie. I am the CEO of Fashion Knowledge Boutique. I also do business coaching, and I'm also launching my community. It's called the Strategic Circle because I feel like like I said, a lot of business owners, they don't have strategies. Like they know what they want to get into, but they don't know how to start or how to do it. So if you're interested in being a part of my upcoming community, which is launching at the end of the month, you can feel free to click the link in my bio and join my waitlist. But you know, I also do business coaching as well. So if you're looking to start or grow your business to 6 figures or more, I can definitely help you with that as well.
Alrighty. Okay. Well, thanks for joining, and I'll see you on social media.
Okay, hon. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Okay, so somebody was asking me a question about I forgot who it was. Somebody asked me a question about non-for-profits. What was the question again about the non-for-profits? I forgot who it was and what the exact question was, if you're still here. But business is my love language. I love talking about business. I could go on and on and on and on all night about business. Business is like my love language. Okay, what about the non-profit structure? What do you know about non-for-profits? Hold on, I'm trying to see the rest of the message. Your knowledge. So when you mean like non-for-profits to get funding or non-for-profits to create. So you need your 501c3 for a non-for-profit, number one. And number two, it's kind of hard for non-for-profits to get like a large amount of funding, but SBA do have a space. It's like a certain amount. They forgot how much the limit is for non-for-profits, but they do get funding as well though for non-for-profits. So you can get funding, but I think it's like a max when it comes to non-for-profits. But you need to have a 501c3. Hey Kiki, you need to have a 501c3 when it comes to your non-for-profit to be able to even call yourself a non-for-profit. It has to be approved. It has to be approved. But yeah, non-for-profits is definitely,
even if you don't amazing Marriott Marquis in the middle of downtown Houston. Beautiful hotel, family friendly if you decide to bring your family.
Was it a busy day?
You're more than
not really, but really, if that makes sense. It was a typical Monday, I should say.
Let's see. This was good. No, so girl math and female souffle, two separate things. One is financial literacy, one is strictly real estate.
We was talking business earlier, like answering business questions. So I might go live and continue answering some more business questions too. But yeah. Well, I've been offered a contract dealing with the city of Cleveland. I need it's on paper. It's my passion dealing with the youth program. So you should definitely go apply for your 501c3. Do you have your LLC already? You probably should just go apply for your 501c3. That's what you should probably do. Get your 501c3. Because if they're going to give you a contract to do that, that's really good. But the city is offering him, it sounds like the city is offering it to him. So it's almost like a done deal for him. He just has to have the physical work, the physical paperwork key. So if he he just needs to have his 501c3. I think that's what's missing. Hey, Bless. Hey, y'all. So I wanted to come back on live and do a business Q&A because you guys know I know I'm going to do Let's Start Business Bestie, but I haven't done it in a minute because, guys, I be super busy. I'm not going to lie to you. But that call kind of like put me in the mood to continue. So I want to answer any questions you guys may have. Hey, Wanda. Any questions that you may have about business. Hold on, y'all. Any questions you guys may have about business. But let's see. Okay, I see. Yeah, I applied a few years ago, but didn't do the next steps. I applied online. Oh, damn. How long ago? Can you see if the application is still open and if you can continue it? That's definitely one thing that I want to do for myself as well, is get my 501c3. But I just got to figure out what I want to do, like in terms of my non-for-profit, though. I know it's got to do something with women. I know. I just don't know what exactly. How can you make fast money as a teenager? There's no such thing as fast money. Anything that's fast money is a scam. It takes time to build your business. There's no such thing as fast money at all. You gotta work for your money. There's no such thing as fast money. I'm affiliated with another not-for-profit whose umbrella I would be under. We have a building and serve. The community give everything from a new one. Well, that's not bad, but you want to have your paperwork in. If you're gonna partner with someone on another business, just make sure your documents are well put together and you don't lose out. That's the only thing I would say. Like your agreements and stuff, just make sure that you have all your legal stuff. Make sure the lawyer reads over it and all the other stuff. But if you're doing that, I think you should be fine once your paperwork is where it needs to be. Then yeah, I mean, if they already have it going on, I will probably just keep doing it, but make sure you have your paperwork in place for sure. Okay, let me see. Y'all have any questions on here? What's the name of the agreements you were talking about? The operating agreement, or I should say, and is a few. It's the operating agreement, is the capital or loan agreement, and it was one more I was talking about. Operating agreement, loan agreement, capital agreement. I didn't know those were the three I was talking about. What advice do you have for people wanting to start their own business? Find your passion. What are you passionate about? And then turn your passion into profit. So whatever you're passionate about, turn it into a profit. That's what I would say. So if you love doing a particular thing that you can see yourself doing for the next, 5, 10, 15 years, turn it into a profit. And don't be scared to start it. Don't be scared to start it. Because a lot of times people live off of fear. You know, we're human, but fear can hold you back. So don't let fear hold you back. Definitely go all in. Definitely go all in. Now, hold on, I missed a portion of your question. We need to expand the area. Oh, no, okay. You can also look into well, you already got one. They already offered it to you, so I would definitely, you know, I would just get your documents and your paperwork in place and go for it. It sounds like it's almost a done deal. I love beautiful. Get it by me. You have thank you. Yeah, any questions about business? So we were talking, those were great questions. I feel like you gotta ask me questions because there's so much about business I can go all night, but when you ask me questions, I get answers for you. You gotta ask me questions. I'm trying to build in my business credit. It's been formed 7 years. It sounds like you're on the right track, Booby. All you gotta do is get your paperwork in order, and you good to go. Right. That part. I'm in Jacksonville.